we got to talk about this because I think a lot of rares inside of the game are not talked about enough, especially for new players, where books are really one of the biggest handicaps for a new player, and we're constantly looking for rare champions to fill the needs that we have. Currently, the Shadowbow Turlak is amazing for a lot of things. The first thing is it's a Sylvan Watcher, and if you guys understand, the Sylvan Watchers are very difficult to get. There's not very many of them. As you can see, I don't even have anything near an epic or anything like that of them, and there aren't that many great characters inside of this faction that you're going to want to use. So for me personally, I think this is an amazing unit to get first, even book out. As you can see, people are rating it very, very high for the Shadowbow. And here's why. The champion skills are Shadowbow. Attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a 25 decrease attack buff for one turn. So this debuff isn't the greatest thing of all time, but it is going to be a 50% chance to put a 25% decrease attack. Not great, but this is a rare champion, and we're mainly going to be using him in the rare Doom Tower secret rooms, as well as pushing a little bit for the early game for your account. So that's kind of what this guy is going to be used for, and then the Sylvan Watchers as well for the faction war. So he's always going to be good inside of the game. And then we're going to have Swift Warband. It's going to attack all enemies, places a 15% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, which is really, really nice, and it could be on a 3-turn cooldown, so it's going to be very, very fast. It's going to be able to attack quick, and the damage is based off of defense for both of these abilities, and defensive base champions are really, really good because they're easy to build and they take a lot of damage. Next up, we're going to have Diversion. Level 1 here for Diversion is pretty nice. It's going to be on a 4-turn cooldown when you book him out. It places a veil on all allies except this champion for 1 turn. Also places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 20% of this max HP of this champion. So this is going to be really good for pretty much just tanking a lot of the hits, especially when you have a lot of your starters as attackers in your early game. He's going to be really pretty much just for the turn meter control of this. I know it's a small 15% increase, so it's not the greatest, but it is a nice shield for your entire army, and 20% of the max HP is really, really nice. And then the passive is decrease the damage received from skills by all allies under Veil or Perfect Veil by 5%. So that's huge as well, especially paired with, let's just say, a Richter Drath or something like that, that's even an epic that you could do in the early game. Now let's go over to how I am building him inside of my account. I did put him to 50. I'm probably going to leave him at 50 for a long time here, but as an early game 50, he's very, very strong. Guy already has some good power. So I am going to go with some Bolster here, and I am going to go with Resilience. Bolster is just really, really good. You probably can even do some lifesteal or something like that if you don't have Bolster, but the reason why I really do like Bolster is because it's going to heal for 10% every turn and give my allies a 30% protection ally shield. He's going to have 20,000 extra HP, and as you can see from the total stats here, this is kind of where he's getting it, but we'll get into that for a little bit. You know, we're getting, you know, decent gear in him. Nothing crazy, nothing great, just early game gear, you know. We're not even getting this level 16 yet, you know, 39%, you know, just some HP on the gloves, some defense on the chest, nothing really great, just hodgepodge all around for this guy. Then you're going to get some nice boots with him with some defense here, some resilience. You know, you're going to get a shield that's going to give him a lot of HP and some defense, some really good shield here. So he's actually got really, really good gear for, you know, him in the early game, and then, you know, really, really good ring to start out, and then an amulet that's just a whatever amulet, but you want to know what, though, it's still going to give him, you know, a lot. When you have 30,000 HP, that's a ton of HP. And the main places where I am using him is in this rare secret room. You see how we have attacker, attacker, attacker. Pretty much everything is an attacker besides my Fellhound and my Shadowbow Turlik. And as you can see as we go through this of how strong he really is, and the main focus on here is he has just enough to go before them. He places his shield on everything, plus the shield of the bolster is just going to be really, really good. If you don't have the shield of the bolster, that's okay. The shield that he gives is still going to be very, very strong for the secret rooms. And as you can see, he's just speeding up everybody, dealing a little bit of damage as well. And by a little bit, I mean he does deal a decent amount of damage. And then we're going to continue to go here. We're going to go through everything. We're going to continue to do some damage as we have some lifesteal on some Elhain. Kael's doing a lot of damage, and we are just mowing through everything. As you can see, just a little bit of damage here, but the control that he brings is insane. Just slowly controlling the entire turn meter, just healing my units, giving my units some shields. That's where it's about. The reflect damage coming in here, not the end of the world from this. And then we're getting some perfect veal with the reflect damage now on the continuous heal. Just a really good hodgepodge of skills coming out. And as you can see, nothing's really in danger here. The only thing that got taken out was my War Maiden because she really doesn't have anything equipped on her. And we're just going through the entire army of the opponent. Really easy for normal secret room, especially in the early game, which is where we are right now. The early game is where a lot of players are going to have the hardest amount of time because you don't have a lot of champions to do a lot of things. And as you can see, still 100% HP, just starts to lose HP now, and we easily clear that out. That's pretty much just with a starter Kael, nothing else really, like level 40s, nothing crazy, and that's going to get me through the Doom Tower secret rooms for the rare rooms only, which is insane. The faction wars, he's very, very good in as well, and that's kind of the main two things where I would use him. And then with the arena, you can put him on a tag team arena team, and he will give you a little bit of value as well. This is a super underappreciated champion inside of this game, and I think especially for the early game, he is somebody who you're going to want to use and book up if you're able to get him. Obviously, you can see for books for me, not really an issue. I haven't booked him yet, but I have 17 rare books. The epic books I have been using a lot. I haven't used one legendary book. I've been kind of just saving them to see what it is. Actually, we did book him all the way. I'm sorry. I already booked him all the way. What am I saying? We booked him all the way already. I didn't actually book him for this one. I'm probably not going to. I'm probably going to save the book. But this is kind of where he at. 3 turn for this, 4 turn for that, and he's just making care of everything. I also got a really nice blessing, survival instinct. Not a great blessing, but it's for the 2,250 HP, which is really just adding to him. And as you can see, the total stats that I'm getting on him, not crazy stats. The speed's only 126. I definitely need to work on his speed, but for right now, with these awkwardly bad stats, he still has a lot of HP. Defense is not bad at 2,000, and he is going to get me in the early game to what I need. All I need for him to do is to use the bolster to get, big shield onto my people, 30% of 30k. So he's putting a 10,000 shield on everybody, which is really nice to start out the match. And then he's also going to give them another 20%. So realistically, it's a 50%. So it's going to be 15% or 15,000 shield on everybody to start out these turns. That's massive to do it, especially when you're in waves. He's mainly just a wave control meter man who's it's a poor man's version of what you need. But in the early game, just get him to 50. I wouldn't even recommend getting him to 60 anytime soon, but 50 is where he's going to stay for pretty much ever on my account. But as you can see, fully ascended for 50. He does have, the ascension as well to where he was able to get his blessing. So he was able to get the extra HP. But this guy, once I was able to get him, I was finally able to clear the rare secret room. And the fact that he's a Sylvan Watcher is the best part, because that faction is really hard to get good units out of, in my personal opinion. Just playing the game, I don't even have anything close to an epic. And these rares, I mean, Mangrave is pretty good, so I can't say that he's bad. But, right now, just off of that, he was able to push me in the faction war. I wonder if I can see it. No, I can't even see it. But he pushed me pretty decent in the faction war. I already have 10 stars just because of him. Obviously, that's not great, but you know what? It's still pushing up, and I will be able to get more and more, which is where the value is at. But thank you guys so much for watching this YouTube video. I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the next one.